You think you found someone special. He's charming, attentive, says all the right things. For weeks, he calls every night, sends sweet messages in the morning, tells you how much he admires your heart. And just when you start to believe, it happens. He asks for money, not $20 for gas, not a small favor, but $5,000. My heart sank. My hands went cold. Because in that moment, I realized that all those sweet words, they might have been leading to this. If you've ever been back in the dating world, after 60, it's not the same as it was decades ago. The games are different now, and sometimes the danger doesn't look like danger at all. In this video, I want to share a story, my story, and what it taught me about trust, red flags, and protecting our hearts. If you care about honest conversations on love, life, and dating later in life, make sure to subscribe. Because here, we speak openly about the things too many of us have been through, but don't always talk about. The sweet beginning. It started so simply. A friendly comment on a photo. A short conversation that turned into a longer one. Before I knew it, we were talking every single day. Morning check-ins, evening goodnights. He remembered little details about my life. My favorite coffee. The fact that I love gardening, how I once dreamed of visiting Italy, and it felt nice. After years of being alone, it was flattering to have someone pay attention like that. He wasn't pushy. He wasn't rushing things, just steady, warm, interested. We didn't meet right away. He had excuses, travel for work, a family matter, the weather, but he kept me engaged with phone calls and video chats. And oh, the things he'd say. You have such a kind soul. I've never met anyone like you. I can see us having a future together. Looking back, I see it clearly now. He was weaving a net, making sure I was emotionally hooked before anything else happened. But at the time, I thought I'd simply been lucky enough to meet a man who knew how to cherish a woman. The first red flags, the first little warning came quietly. He mentioned he'd had a bad investment a while back. Then, a week later, he told me about his temporary cash flow problem. He said it casually, like it was no big deal, and I didn't think much of it. But slowly, the stories got a little more dramatic. His business deal was delayed. His client hadn't paid on time. A piece of equipment broke and needed replacing. Still, he kept the romance alive. Compliments, sweet talk. Even a song he said reminded him of me, and I wanted to believe him, because believing felt better than doubting. One night, during one of our long calls, he said, "You're the only person I can really trust, right now." My heart swelled, and that, I think, was exactly what he wanted. The ask, it happened on a Thursday evening. We'd been laughing about something silly, and then his tone shifted. "There's something I need to tell you," he said, his voice low, and I wouldn't ask if it weren't important. I felt my stomach tighten. He told me his business was in trouble, that he just needed a short-term loan to keep things going. And then, he said the number, $5,000. I didn't answer right away. He filled the silence with more words about how much I meant to him, how this was just temporary, how he'd pay me back as soon as possible. But I wasn't hearing the romance anymore. I was hearing the pattern, the same one I've heard from other women's stories. The kindness, the connection, the crisis, and then the ask. Walking away. I wish I could tell you I handled it with perfect grace. But the truth? My heart was pounding. Part of me wanted to believe him. Part of me felt guilty for even doubting. But another part, the part that's lived enough years to know better, whispered, "This is not love." I told him I couldn't help. That money changes things, and I didn't want that between us. His warm voice turned cold. He said he understood, but I could feel the distance. By the next week, he stopped calling. It hurt. Not just losing him, but realizing that maybe he'd never been there for me at all. But here's what I've learned. Saying no to manipulation is saying yes to self-respect. And sometimes the best thing we can do for our hearts is protect them. If you've ever been in a situation like this, where the sweet words turn sour the moment money enters the conversation, please know you're not alone. It happens more than we talk about, especially in dating later in life. We deserve love that doesn't come with a price tag. We deserve connection that isn't transactional. And we deserve to feel safe in our relationships. If something feels off, trust that feeling. Ask questions. Protect your boundaries. And if you've been through something like this, I'd love for you to share, because your story might help someone else avoid the same pain. Hit subscribe so we can keep having these honest talks. Here, we look out for each other.